Hey everyone, it's Insko here. Welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be showing you how I made my remix of Justin Bieber and Benny Blanco's song Lonely. I also really quickly wanted to say I'm sorry for not uploading last week. I was a little bit ill and just didn't feel like making a video, so I hope you can understand. Also, it's my birthday this week on Thursday, so hopefully there's going to be a video next Monday and hopefully I can get the time to make it. But I'll let you know on my Instagram if there's any issues or if I'm busy or whatever. Now, obviously, before we get into it, if you haven't already checked out the remix, the link is in the description for that. It's on my YouTube channel. It's the only place you can find it. But I'm really proud of the remix. I recommend you go check it out before you watch the video. But let's show you how I made it.
Everybody knows my name now, but something about it still feels strange. Like looking in a mirror, trying to steady yourself and seeing somebody else.
So my remix has a lot of piano in it, and I did that because the original song has a lot of piano too. In fact, I think the original song is literally just Justin Bieber's vocals and the piano. But the only thing that's from the original song in my remix is the vocal. But anyway, this is what the a cappella sounds like.
Everybody knows my name now, but something about it still feels strange. Like looking in a mirror, trying to steady yourself and seeing somebody else.
Now, I don't know whether you can hear it or not, but I definitely can. There's like a low vocoder in those vocals. I couldn't get rid of it, so instead what I decided to do was make my own one to kind of layer it. So on this vocal here, there's a vocoder that's just playing the bass notes of the chords.
Everybody knows my name now, but something about it still feels strange.
I know it sounds super weird, but in a full mix, it sounds really good. Then we have this piano here, which plays the chords. And as you can also hear, there's a piano on top that's just playing single notes. Next up, we have this other piano that kind of sounds like a guitar for some reason. But all that's doing is just playing the top and bottom note of each of the chords. Then we have this violin that's just playing the top notes of the chords. Next, we have a really quiet sub bass just to go in the beginning. I've turned it up in the video, but for me, listening to this, I can hardly even hear that. Then we have this pad that's playing the chords, but it's stacked. Then other than that, I just have a little bit of atmospheric sounds like drones and rain. So that's the first half of the verse. Now the second half of the verse, not a lot really changes. There's now another vocoder to layer the vocals.
What if you had it all, but nobody to call? Maybe then you know me.
Now, a thing I did for this section was actually play the melody that the vocals are doing on a piano. I was pretty happy with how it came out, actually, because you can't hear it really in the full song, but it does just help layer the vocals and just keep the whole song sounding more full. Now, the piano's changed in this section. We go into a bit more of like a choppy kind of piano. Instead of it just playing the chords and then changing the chords, it's now doing it in fours. The sub bass on this section is a little bit more louder than it was in the first half of the verse, and it's also now layered with a respace as well.
I'm so lonely.
Now for the build up, I wanted to keep it really simple. I completely stripped back the vocals and all of those vocoders and just made it so it was just the main vocal playing. But I also added my pitched vocal effect that I do in every single one of my songs. I forgot to mention that in the verse, but I did do it in the verse as well. But this is what they sound like. I just delayed them a little bit from the main vocal and it helps fill up the gaps. Next, I added this ARP-like pluck. And as you can hear, the more the build-up would continue, it starts to go higher up in notes. This section here is actually just playing the top and bottom note of the chords. So over here on the first two bits, I had it do the same thing, but then progress after that. Again, it's one of those things that you can't really hear in the full song, but it does help make the song sound more full. Next, we have this pad kind of sound that I was actually really happy with. It was one of those presets that I found in Serum that was just kind of lying around in my library. And I was just trying to find some sort of ambient sound that was nice and full and could just help make that build-up sound more complete. And this is what I came across. It's quite loud in the mix actually, and you can really hear it in the build-up. But I like that. It just fits it really well. We also have the sub bass and re-bass continuing on, but obviously they're a lot louder. Then we have this really choppy saw wave synth. And in the beginning, the cut-off is really low, so it's all filtered out. But as the build-up progresses, it gets more and more open. And it's a nice kind of progression into the drop. Next, I added another one of those ambient type of things, but it's a little pluck, and it literally just plays here. That's all it is, just that little section. I don't know why, just thought it was really nice and it fits really well. Then we have that pad that's playing the chords carrying on. And then I added another pad that's playing the chords, and it sounds very similar to the other one, but I automated the cutoff so it kind of opens a little bit more towards the end of each chord. Then the final thing that isn't drums or effect is the strings, and they play on the second half of the first build-up. Then we have the drums. It is really simple stuff on this track. On the first half, just the claps because I wanted it to be simple. On the second half, it's mainly just snares and kicks, along with this Kashmir Cinematic drums loop. But then if we scroll down here, we also have two shaker loops playing. One that's more to the left ear, one that's more to the right ear. And then right at the end as it's getting quicker, we also have these rides. And the final thing, right before the drop, the vocal plays. But I added this tape stop effect just because I thought it sounded cool.
I'm so...
Right, so for the build-up, let's get into the thing that everyone's always interested in, the vocal chops. So if we solo them and listen to them by themselves, this is what they sound like. Now, if I go ahead and take all the effects off of it, this is actually what the chops are. So I didn't really mess about with them too much. I just tried to kind of copy the melody that he was doing on the build-up. And then once I processed it, which was just a lot of distortion and EQing and all that, I then got this. Then I decided to duplicate that, but make it an octave higher, and that sounds like this. Which sounds absolutely awful, I know. But together, with the other vocal, it sounds like this. And I'm pretty happy with it. Oh, and I also forgot to mention there is another little vocal chop. But that's processed in pretty much the same way. It has a layer which is an octave higher as well. It's just a little bit quieter. But that's the vocal chops. Now let's listen to the drums by themselves. I'll play it all through and then I'll talk about it after. It's a really simple beat pattern, actually. It just is kick and snare just in that pattern. And obviously have little percussive bits in the background to make it more interesting. But the kick is just a single kick, haven't layered that at all. The snare is layered with 4 different snares that sound like this. Altogether sounds like this. Other than that, I just have some rides, a clap loop, a shaker loop, and just some toms now and then. Next, let's take a look at the chords. They sound very empty and not very full by themselves. They have a lot of high end, and you can tell that there's a distinct layer that's on top of it. This is actually everything here, and this top one here is what you can hear the most. And on the second half of the drop, it actually progresses a little bit more. But the rest of the chords stay the same, it's just that top layer that progresses. Next we have the bass, which, as you could probably guess it, is just a sub bass and a respace. Anyway, the rest of the stuff that we have is just a bunch of ambient stuff. Now for the second verse, there really isn't a lot that's changed. I did mostly just, you know, copy and paste everything over. Obviously, Justin's vocals are different. He's saying different things on this part, but the instrumentation stays pretty much the same. I did, however, add some other little stuff just to spice it up a little bit. Those being this plucky little guitar that doesn't sound like a real guitar at all, but it works. And also this other pad. Yes, another pad. I used a lot of pads, I don't know why. But other than that, it's the same. Now the second build up, as you could probably guess, is also pretty much the same. But instead of having the strings come in on the second half, I actually brought them in straight away. But I'm pretty sure that was it. Everything else is the same, even the drums and everything. Now, the second drop. It's pretty much the same. Wow, couldn't have guessed that. But I did do this really cool thing as the drop hit, which I was really, really happy with. So instead of it just all coming in and you got the drums all playing like the first drop, you have the kick that plays and the vocal chops and the synths and everything like that. But the rest of the drums don't come in until a little bit after. I was just really happy with how that came out because I've heard plenty of songs by other future bass producers that do that, and I've never really known how they do it and how they get it to sound so full. And then I tried it and it worked, and I was really happy with it. I mean, I can't even really break it down because it is just the drop without the drums. The only thing that I really did do was cut up the chords and the bass on this section here to make it a little bit choppy. That was just the thing that I tried out and I thought it sounded cool. Also, you can see there's a little bit of automation here for the chords. All that's doing is just distorting them more. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is my remix of Justin Bieber and Benny Blanco's song, Lonely. If you haven't already checked it out, the link is in the description. I really am trying to push this remix as much as I can, because if you're new around here, you might not know that a little while ago, I released a remix of Lewis Capaldi's song, Before You Go, and it got removed off YouTube after like 3 months of it being on there and it getting like 11,000 views, which made it my most popular YouTube video ever. And yeah, it just got removed, so I wasn't very happy about it. But I'm really trying to push this remix as much as I can, because not only do I want it to do as well, but I think it's better. And although I made it in such a short amount of time, I'm really happy with how the drop sounds and how the remix sounds. And I'm just proud of it. So, you know, if you do enjoy it, go show your support on it and I'd really appreciate it. But other than that, my name is Insko. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you did enjoy it, remember to hit that like button and subscribe and turn on notifications, because I upload new music related content every single Monday at 7 PM BST. Hopefully I'll see you next week for the next video, and I hope you have a good rest of your week.